So after that first round, the 26 celebrities left had to make this huge choice. It would basically define their entire path forward. They had to pick a side, a game of smarts that would test their mind, or a game of strength that would test their body.
Okay, so the smart game was this super high-pressure memory test. They had just a few.
And this just perfectly captures the central dilemma of this whole competition, right? Howie's move forces all of us to ask, when you're playing for such a noble cause, do things that would normally be cheating suddenly become okay? It's a really fascinating moral gray area.
Meanwhile, over at the strong game, it was just a pure, grueling test for physical endurance, kind of like you'd see on the show Survivor. The rules were simple but brutal. Just be one of the last 6 people holding onto your pole. First 6 to let go or out. Simple as that.
All right, on to part 3, and this is where everything changes. With fewer people left, the game totally shifts from being about individual survival to the messy, complicated world of teamwork, alliances, and, of course, betrayal. So the next challenge forced everybody into teams of 3 for a high-stakes cooking competition. All of a sudden, your success didn't just depend on you anymore. It depended on how well you could work with 2 other people under some serious pressure.
And the judging panel was a show in itself. You had a global icon, Paris Hilton, a world-famous chef, Giada De Laurentiis, and, well, you had Kevin Hart, which just added this perfect layer of comedy and tension to the whole thing. But just as these teams were starting to really work together, Mr.Beast drops this absolutely vicious twist. The winning teams were immediately split up and locked inside these isolated cubes. And their new job, eliminate 2 of their own teammates. Only 1 person from each team could move on. And the way they decided who to eliminate was just wild. Inside the cube, teams could ask for anything to help them choose, and the requests were insane. We're talking a game of Twister, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. One team even brought in a litter of puppies to let them decide. It was pure psychological chaos. And that brings us to the final act, the $1 Million Mind Game. With just 3 competitors left, all the physical tests and team challenges were over. Now, it all came down to a pure test of psychological warfare.
So our final 3 were the musician Audrey Nuna, rapper Young Gravy, and the legendary stunt performer Steve-O. 3 totally different personalities, and each of them was just 1 step away from winning that $1 million for their cause.
The final game was beautifully simple. 3 briefcases, 1 has the $1 million. The first 2 players each pick a case and secretly look inside. Then, the final contestant, Steve-O, gets the ultimate power. He can either take the last case left, or he can steal one from his opponents.
And this is where it all becomes pure psychology. Steve-O's entire decision came down to whether he could read the other 2 players. He immediately pegged Audrey Nuna as his biggest challenge, calling her a deadpan individual, which made her almost impossible to figure out.
So after this really tense round of questioning, Steve-O made his choice. He trusted his gut, which was telling him that Audrey was trying just a little too hard to look calm. So he stole her briefcase. And his read was spot on. He had just stolen the $1 million case and won the entire competition for his charity, Doctors Without Borders.
In the end, Steve-O's charity got the full $1 million. But in a really great move, the other finalist charities, the Luminous Fund and Noise for Now, each got a $20,000 donation. It was a great way to show that even in a crazy competition like this, every charity was a winner.
And this really leaves us with one final thought. Steve-O's win wasn't an accident. It was the result of a really smart, calculated psychological read. So it makes you wonder, in a high-stakes game like this, what's actually more powerful, a lucky guess or the ability to truly read another person? A few moments to memorize this really complex 10-block